Hello, hello, hello. As you can see, I am here alone. So I'm going to give it a few minutes, see if we have any company tonight. Vanita already told me she may not make it, so we'll see what happens. I don't like talking to the camera. Oh, Gio is here. Good.
Okay. Hey.
Hey, Gio. I was just talking to the camera saying I don't like talking to the camera by myself.
Okay.
So I am glad to see you.
Hmm.
Vanita already told me she probably would not be able to make it tonight. So
Okay.
and I don't know what's going on with Leonie. Um have you talked to her or heard from her?
No, but I mean, when you own your own business, you have to, that's priority, right? So maybe business has picked up, which is good.
Which is
If that's the
good.
case, yeah, if that's the case. Hopefully she's
Yeah.
okay. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So, it looks like it may just be the two of us, but we have been here before.
we have.
And we know how to get through it. So,
Yep. Good.
so, so we might as well go ahead and get started with our welcome to Reading for Change. I keep wanting to find. Oh, I don't have it up. The welcome. I don't care how many years. I could barely remember my own name, Gio.
Michelle.
Welcome to Reading for Change, a collective journey where we read different kinds of books. This is the fourth one we're reading. It's called Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind by Yuval Noah Harari. You can learn more about Reading for Change on our website, which is called Reading Changes Lives. I know it's too close. Um, but
Okay.
and we also have a Facebook page called Reading for Change, a collective journey, and a YouTube channel where, possibly you are joining us tonight. So, we're up to chapter 4, called The Flood. And this is actually the end of the section on the cognitive revolution. So we have a break next week. Um, and then the following week, we begin the next section of the book on the agricultural. Hopefully, I'm going to learn to say that word better. Uh,
You said it fine.
it didn't flow off of my tongue.
Okay, let's rewind. Okay, do it again.
Agricultural. is the next revolution is the next section of this wonderful book. I'm Michelle Odom. I'm located in Brooklyn, New York. And Geo?
I'm Georgette Moses. I join you guys from Columbia, South Carolina. Mhm.
Yay! Are
Yeah,
you enjoying the book, Geo?
I am. One of the things I do enjoy is that the chapters are so short. I'm like, because I do have a hard copy, but I also have it in Kindle. So, and I like when it says, oh, gauging your reading speed, or you have 11 minutes to go. And I'm like, yes, I can do this.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
it's such an easy read because
Mhm,
his speech is very plain. And
mhm.
then he always throws in a zinger. Those
Y-
stinking sapiens. No,
Yes,
they're ruining the planet. No.
yes, yes, yes. So, once again, I did not do an agenda. I'm just so
That's okay.
distracted this session.
And that's okay. It's casual. This is the holiday season. No
Yeah,
need to be so extremely academic. It's all right. We're gonna give you a pass,
yes,
Michelle. Now next
yeah,
year you better get your stuff together. No.
yes. Benita told me if I was the professor, she would never take my class.
Oh my God. Well, you would have copious notes, so passing the test would be great.
Yes, I told her I'd have been a great teacher. She's like, no,
Yeah,
no, no.
yeah,
But but I did always really like school. Um and and uh but I like what we do in these groups without the pressure of grades and competition and all that kind of other stuff,
Mm,
which was not what I loved, but I just love learning about you know new things, new ideas. So,
mhm.
and there's enough to learn, to keep us busy for many, many lifetimes. So,
There sure is. Well, since joining your little groups, I have broadened my knowledge in several different areas.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes, yes.
there's a lot to know. There's a lot to know. And no matter how much we know, we still don't know it all.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
let's see.
Mm,
I did open up a page that has a little bit of a summary of this chapter.
okay.
Um, share that. And you feel like reading?
Sure.
Just this one paragraph.
Okay. In the last chapter on the cognitive revolution, Yuval Noah Harari considers the ecological impact of human migration beyond the Afro-Asian landmass into distant and distinct ecosystems. Chapter 4, The Flood, looks at the deluge of humanity our author describes as an ecological serial killer as he builds the case that where Homo sapien goes, death to native plants and animals follows. From the large animals of Australia to the third wave extinction being caused by modern industrial activity, Harari suggests if we knew how many species we've already eradicated, we might be more motivated to protect those that still survive. Yeah.
Yeah. So this was a short chapter, and I really did not go back through it to think about questions. But that last point, does jump out at me. If we knew um, how many species we have offed in the past, would we be
Hmm.
motivated to um, find another way to be in the world. And I don't know. I what do you think about that?
I think
Is
we are
it
so self-centered and dead set on this path of better, faster, newer, easier that we could care less what little bird or 20-foot die. What do they call it? Die something a don?
that
Yeah,
diprodon?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, could fell by the wayside because we destroyed their habitat and their food.
yeah,
And no, I don't think we care as a species. Pockets of us do. We get it, but the masses, right? The masses, they don't even care. They care about the stock market. They care about the interest rate. They care about who's being elected. They care about who's bombing who. You know,
yeah. I agree. Unfortunately.
yeah. I mean, the numbers he stated, they just seem astronomical. And I mean, the size of the creatures, right? The
8 ton.
originally in these lands, I'm like, they should could have sat on some Homo sapiens and ended it all right there.
Yeah, yeah, but they
Oh
didn't
my
have enough
God.
sense to be afraid of us. So
I guess not.
they had
And
not developed that instinct.
yeah, like kill it before it spreads. No.
Yeah.
uh, ah, just
Yeah. On the other hand, I can relate to if I'm a Homo sapiens, um, and I come across an 8 ton beast.
kill it before it sits on us.
Yes, exactly. So, I don't know. I mean, I think that we don't really that 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 most of us don't really see the connections um between all life, um and so therefore we don't see the value or the danger um in just willy-nilly killing things off because we need that space, or we need that fur, or we need that meat. you know um we don't we don't we don't grasp what the big picture of consequences. um so just a very individualistic, narrow-minded um kind of thing that sapiens have, that like I said, if you saw an 8 ton beast, um it does seem like your instinct would be to kill it, if you could find a way to kill it, right?
Yeah. Well,
Which in itself, must have taken quite a bit of ingenuity, um given the limited tools that they had to work with. So, how do you do it?
yeah.
Yeah, so they had to really, strategize on a lot of that stuff. Um, but it's 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 narrow, it's narrow. We don't see the big picture. And so even now with all of our modern knowledge and understanding, of what will happen to us if the bees go away and all of that, you know, um, what happens when you um, divest the ocean of, a particular kind of fish, some of us, understand those kinds of things deeply. Um, but it's not um I don't think it's widely understood, you know. And so, part of that is the way we choose to educate ourselves, like what eh, it's interesting. It must be interesting to be a fly on the wall right about now, watching humans in the United States, actively, consciously trying to make themselves stupider. Um, you know, just
Ah,
with vigor. you, know, you will not teach me a damn thing.
oh my God. Yes.
And so when that's our attitude about education, and even before we got to this stage, um, education for all, good education for all, has never really been embraced as an American value. It's always been a very exclusive thing from the time, blacks were not allowed to read, to segregated and unequal schools, um, to integration that never really happened.
Mhm.
you know, um, to letting schools in the cities, um, just fail to educate. It's never really been a true value, I think, in this country. So,
Yeah. Hmm. Well, I'm thinking about that book, Pedagogy of the Oppressed,
mm-hmm,
and how certain groups um, try to make the connection that, well, education is to keep, I guess, 99% of us on the hamster wheel. But that doesn't mean, I think they're conflating knowledge with systems of education, which there are different systems. Because if you go to elite schools or your family can pay for, what is it? Oh, now I can't think of the terms. Not parochial, but is it parochial or is it
private.
private education, right? Private schools, then you can get the best of, Socratic type of environments. You can go to the actual, I don't know, pyramids because they can afford that. If that's part of the curriculum and that's what they wish to invest in. But for most of us, we are at the mercies of city and state budgets, county budgets, whomever, whatever kinds of rules there are for the teachers that will be educating you, you know, and it's become one giant slog, right? And then the technology that was presented that was supposed to make life so much easier. Oh, there, It'll be so much better. For some strange reason, has done the exact opposite. How is this? Things just don't appear to make logical sense because
Yeah.
we're told one thing and but the result is, the opposite, and then you still blame us. Oh, it's our fault that this
Mhm.
isn't working. The parents don't show up to the meetings because they
Mhm.
got to work. Okay. Extra because the cost of living has skyrocketed because certain groups wish to make money off of things and transfer wealth. So it's a tough, you know, I mean, you try to, well, at least I do occasionally when I want to feel depressed, try to see, well, what could fix this junk? Ah, but it, the the small bright solutions you might find, they make them so difficult to implement, right? Like charter schools. They turn charter schools into another tool against the masses. How is this possible? So I don't know. Perhaps we are, inherently destructive and then self-destructive because there's nothing else for us to conquer. No more lands for us to raise and burn and species for us to eradicate. We are the final species we're on the road to eradicating. Wow.
Yeah. Well, but yeah, that's what I was trying to say about education, that hypothetically it could be a way to help people understand the interconnectedness of the ecosystem, including us. But since we're not using education to, really educate, um, that's not a solution. But on the final species thing, he does make the point in this chapter that the migration into Australia uh, is at least as important uh, as Columbus discovering America, and and um, and and the landing on the moon. And I called Benita when I read that, and I said, I just don't understand how in this day and age Columbus is even a footnote. Why would he even be a footnote, Geo?
But now I need to ask you this question because I've read these three items in the same sentence, and I'm like, is he being funny? Is he
Right,
trying to make, some tongue-in-cheek aside about people's conspiracy theories about us not really landing on the moon, with
right,
Columbus not really discovering America, with what
right,
happened in Australia? Like, I don't know.
right,
I don't
right,
know. Because we do have people like still, ain't no way we went up to that rock in the sky.
yes,
Okay, but
yes.
we do have evidence that Columbus ain't come nowhere near America, and he didn't discover it. Okay, first, all right.
Right, and that's the thing. And as Harari himself is describing, there were people here at least 14,000 years
Okay.
before Columbus got here.
So I think he's making a joke, but what's that got to do with Australia? What you trying to say?
Well, you're right. You're right. And then the moon, when I think about that, it's like, yeah, we've pretty much killed off everything there is for us to kill on this planet. But
Okay.
there's a whole other
Mm.
thing out there we are desperately trying to get to. And what I really saw as the central theme of this chapter is wherever Homo sapiens go, death and destruction follow. So all I can
Hmm.
say to the aliens, the folk on the other planet is watch out.
That's why we ain't see him. That's why we ain't gonna see him because I don't let them see you. They'll kill you. Okay, you know how they been. We've been watching them for millions of years. Okay, you know how they do.
Yes,
They're like, we
yes.
need to keep them right there in that solar system. Don't let them come out.
Don't let them out.
They don't play nice with others. Okay.
We really don't. We really don't. It's
Oh
just, it's
my
like we
God.
can't stop ourselves.
That is, it's so, I mean, it makes it seem like, we just, whatever happened that changed us that one moment in time, so we were able to speak and then cooperate with each other, also created some kind of mental illness, some passion for destruction.
Yeah. 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 So yeah, I'm not real hopeful about changing this.
We need we
What's
need an,
what's
we need to evolve again. Maybe we'll do
yeah.
better.
What which, if we go ahead and completely destroy Earth as we know it, um, and there are a couple of humans left behind that have to try to restart everything, they will have that opportunity to change it. Hopefully they're smart. It depends on who's left behind. You know?
Okay.
Hopefully it's some of the more intelligent, caring among us that will be left behind,
Oh my
and not,
goodness.
these ecological serial killers.
Mm.
Um,
Wow. That's the theme of many science fiction
yeah,
novel. Uh,
yeah, because that's that is probably what it will take for us to get on a different path. Just a clean slate,
yeah.
after massive, massive, massive destruction. You know?
Michelle, you sound like me, some aliens and this is in the Starship Enterprise. Okay, we're gonna shoot 5 photon torpedoes at that planet right over there. Okay.
Well, Vanita's not here tonight, so somebody's got to play the heavy.
Oh, for sure. Oh my gosh. And we gonna start over. Okay. Like an etch a sketch. Shake it up. Start it
Yeah,
over.
start over. Start over. And, that's what I wonder about. Are we, you know, in some kind of a play? Are there superior life forms out there in the multiverse that are pulling our strings? Because our behavior is so illogical.
It really is. Uh, maybe maybe we got locked on the bad timeline when we made a poor election choice.
Yeah,
We said
yeah,
we don't want the Earth-ending asteroid. Let's just give this clown a try. And it was a
yeah.
mistake. Maybe we should have tried the asteroid. Because we just can't seem to get back on track. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness. Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
yeah, yeah. Or maybe we went through some kind of a wormhole.
Oh,
After my mom passed in 2006, I think I've told you this story before. Um, Stuff was so weird. My brother was um, one of my brothers was acting like he was possessed by her. He was doing things that she would do around the house, like mopping,
Oh,
taking out the trash, and just acting like her. There were times I'd go driving down this 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 road. You know Route 22
oh yeah, in
in
Jersey. Yep.
in Hillside and all of that. And
Yeah.
normally that road is jam packed through the Newark area, no matter
Mm-hmm.
what time of day you're trapped. I would get on 22, the road would just open up. Nobody would be out there for miles. Just weird stuff was going
That's
on
a
like,
miracle.
well, yeah. And me and Leah, my brother's girlfriend at the time, we started feeling like we've entered a parallel universe. You
Oh no.
know? I'm still trying to get out of this universe back to my old life, but it seems like I'm stuck here. But it just makes me want to say maybe the whole world got trapped in some kind of I don't know, wormhole or something. And we're just maybe there's this parallel world where we make sensible choices. you know
Mm.
we use our technology to do good. uh we've become a truly advanced planet, ready to walk next to our interstellar neighbors. They open their arms and welcome us, but we're not in that universe.
Ah. Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what was anything striking to you about this chapter stand out for you?
Well, I I was puzzled how Homo sapiens were able to do so much damage to so many creatures uh, that, you know, and then he mentioned they used fire to clear the land and probably, burn out the habitat. And then it made me think about what happened here in America during the Dust Bowl. Well, what precipitated the Dust Bowl, right? Was farming in the middle of what was essentially a sea of grass that controlled the weather for, North America. And short-sightedness, people not just not knowing what in the heck they're doing, farm stuff, destroyed the ecosystem, and then it turned it into a desert that blew sand into Washington, D.C. and clouded up the skies like smog. Now, that is some serious, you know, effect on nature. And that's
Mm-hmm.
just one instance,
Mm-hmm.
that we can point to. And still we haven't learned anything from it. Oh, well, that was just something that happened. Let's move on. But we shouldn't be moving on. We should be taking stock of the history of it. Well, first we got to agree on it, okay? Because, right, we still got a whole healthy segment of people like the Earth is 6 million years old or whatever. I'm like, really? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We can't agree on what science is, right? And if we should believe in it, if we should all believe in it.
Right.
So
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think really life is not supposed to be easy. Um, and we want to make things easier. So, we keep doing things because ostensibly they're going to make things easier for us. Farming, was so we'd have a steady supply of various foods. Um, hunting too. So I mean, even the hunter gatherers, um, were doing things uh as in this chapter, doing things that had an ecological impact. But they were trying to make life easier for themselves because all that foraging around, I guess it gets old. you know, Foraging around, running from big animals. you Somebody in the group starts to say, there has got to be a better way. And then they come up with some stuff um with no idea, as you said, don't know what they're doing, no idea of the impact. And then we do these individual things, these individual acts, um but don't see how little individual acts multiplied, millions of times by millions of people add up, and do have an impact. Which is, when I'm having a rose colored glasses day, which today is not one of them. Today's the anniversary of Dean's passing.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
guess that's why I'm like, the world is fucked up. Humans ain't shit. They
Yeah.
ain't no hope.
Oh, Michelle.
But we
Yeah.
don't know. But when I'm wearing my rose colored glasses, um, that's one of the things it feels like to me. If we would just do the things that we think are helpful, that we think are positive, that we think are intelligent as individuals, and not spend our time worrying about what other folks are doing and telling other folks what they should and should not do. Just as the new age people say, be.
Yeah.
Just be it. um it would add up, and potentially eventually change the world, save the world, you know um but that's hard for us to do because we get into a vicious circle of, yeah, but my little contribution, no point in me giving up meat. While everybody else is grubbing down. I need my protein too.
Ah,
And so we don't want to believe that our singular actions, can really add up to a positive result. So
Mm.
didn't
Well,
add it didn't add up to a positive result though
it sure
for
didn't.
for all of the species
Oh my goodness.
that sapiens have wiped out.
You, you know what? I found it interesting that the eucalyptus plant benefited from the
Yeah,
invasion. I'm like,
yeah,
okay. It was like leave Burnham. Yeah, yeah, burn some over there, burn some over there. And then
yeah. And
the
then they could
koala
spread
bear.
out.
Right, right.
Uh-huh.
And then the koala bear who was, what did they say, was like 4 feet tall or something. So huge, right?
Uh-huh.
But it was able to, proliferate because it was able to spread out to different areas. Thank God it got smaller because that's one mean animal.
Oh yeah.
Look, everything in Australia will kill you, okay? I don't even know why they went there. Why did they
Right.
go?
Right. Right.
Maybe those are the only things that survived were the things that could kill you. Oh, real?
Right. And then to make your way through Siberia minus what 60, 80
Oh my
degrees.
God. Yes. Minus anybody, okay? And what were
Right.
you wearing if you didn't have a down jacket and some mucklucks?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I don't know how you
Right.
did it.
Right.
Wow.
So these were some really, hardy and determined folk,
Yes.
you know. Um, and they did it. So, but maybe that uh I do have a note here. Let me see. I'm gonna read the paragraph because I'm not sure what I was pointing to.
Okay.
It's on page 65. The first human footprint on a sandy Australian beach was immediately washed away by the waves. Yet when the invaders advanced inland, they left behind a different footprint, one that would never be expunged. As they pushed on, they encountered a strange universe of unknown creatures that included a 450-pound 6-foot kangaroo, and a marsupial lion as massive as a modern tiger that was the continent's largest predator. Koalas, far too big to be cuddly and cute, rustled in the trees, and flightless birds twice the size of ostriches sprinted on the plains. Dragon like lizards and snakes, 7 feet long, slithered through the undergrowth. The giant Diprotodon, a 2.5-ton wombat, roamed the forest. Except for the birds and reptiles, all these animals were marsupials, like kangaroos. They gave birth to tiny, helpless, fetus like young, which they then nurtured with milk in abdominal pouches. Marsupial mammals were almost unknown in Africa and Asia, but in Australia they reigned supreme. So my note is saying something about, is this why we fear is this why we fear strangers that um I guess I was thinking that in times past like these, um people were so vicious. They're still vicious. They're still vicious. But imagine being out, roaming through all of these 450-pound animals, and you're scared everywhere you turn, and uh uh you might be happy to see another human, or you might not, because they might be licking their lips Look at you.
This sounds like a dangerous world. Oh my God.
You
Wow.
know, and just this kind of fear of strangers, um not wanting, our attitudes toward immigrants, and um is it that at some level we know when new people come on the scene, you know life's about to change. In my neighborhood now, he calls this chapter the flood. I could
Mhm.
relate to that title. um I live in the ghetto of Brooklyn, one of Brooklyn's many ghettos, I should say. um and the closest one of the closest train stations to me is called Broadway Junction, and several different subway lines go through Broadway Junction, and there's a steep escalator, not the steepest I've ever seen, but pretty steep. And for all the 8 years, most of the 8 years that I've lived here, you could be coming down the escalator and look across at the other side. It would be packed with people going up the escalator, and 99.99% of those would be Black people. Recently, as I've come through Broadway Junction, I've looked over at the other side, and 99.9% have been white people.
What?
And it
Okay.
really, over the time that I've been here, I've seen them kind of slowly putting up new apartment buildings. But it seems like just all of a sudden they shipped in thousands and thousands of white people to fill those buildings. Um, and I mean, you still see Black people. I don't know that Blacks have gone anywhere, but it's definitely starting to feel, you definitely feel the shift going on, and it's like a flood. It's like a flood.
Wow.
So I understood this title for this chapter.
Okay. Uh,
Yeah.
well, have they increased the amount of grocery stores you can walk to in the neighborhood?
um yeah, actually. And the ones that were here already have upped their game. Um, and a couple of new stores have been added that offer all the yuppie type food and drink.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, there's been some kind of slow changing going on with the shops. Um, but it's happening, and it's just been fascinating for me to see, how it kind of felt like it just happened overnight. I mean, the building of the buildings was a slow process. I
Mhm.
I mean, not slow. I don't know how long it takes to build a building, but it's been going on for several years, but no change in the demographics. But the
Mhm.
demographic shift just happened like overnight. you know?
Wow. Wow.
So I guess that's how these, these other species, um, what it looked like to them as Homo sapiens started coming into new regions of the world. That's why, where he talks about the in Australia, they hadn't been able to develop, hadn't evolved to develop fear of Homo sapiens. Um, so I guess, they're being all friendly animals, and we just want to coexist with this new species, not understanding Homo sapiens ain't trying to coexist with nobody.
I can't remember that Greek phrase, we saw, we came, we conquered, or something. What is it? I forgot.
Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah. That's been our motto, it appears, for quite a long time.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So, so he says guilty as charged. That some scholars try to blame climate change uh, as the source of uh, of all of these animals and plants dying, but Harari says no.
well.
No, get off it.
Which should make the climate change deniers happy.
Right, right. But I mean, we're also contributing now, you know, to climate change itself. So I have to agree with with Harari. We're guilty any way you look at it. So let's see. Oh, I have another note. Oh, that's the wrong. It's hit on our head from every angle. Oh, so I'm at the bottom of page 68.
Mhm.
The combination of climate change and human hunting is particularly devastating for large animals since it attacks them from different angles. It is hard to find a good survival strategy that will work simultaneously against multiple threats. And so that made me think about, my own journey, which began with health crises. Um, and then before I could address the health crises, which ultimately took about a quarter of a century to do. So, there was not going to be a quick fix. The health crises led to financial crises, and shit was just falling out of the sky from all directions. Um, and then that led to spiritual crises. And and so as I'm reading this and thinking about the poor animals that we're getting it from all sides, I'm like, yeah, that it's one thing to solve a problem. you know if you have a problem to solve, count yourself lucky. Right?
That's right. That's right. They don't come alone. They got friends.
Yeah, yeah, but when the shit starts coming from all directions, um it's more than a notion. So I understand why they're extinct, because they didn't know what to respond to first.
Yeah. And or how, you know.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. It's really
yeah.
painting a terrible picture of Sapiens.
Well,
Oh my
yeah, but
goodness.
ironically, that's the box that sapiens have now put themselves in, because I think we don't feel like we can solve these problems because they're so huge. They're so interconnected and disconnected and all over the place. And if you don't just have the leisure, I mean, we sit back in book group and ponder the problems of the world. But really, if you were really if we were really engaged in a problem solving process, how could we fix the problems of the world? That would be the question. Where do you start?
Yeah.
And how do you prevent utter destruction while you're implementing your plan to start over here?
That is true. And I'm thinking about um, two areas where people say, well, if we did these things, we could solve, many of the problems in humanity. One is free energy, and the other is digital currency, or rather, getting rid of, a monetary system at all and just having, a living, I guess a living, not a living way, it's called something else where you just get a stipend for being, all right?
Mhm.
Um, but there's so much opposition because we are in that, we're so deeply indoctrinated into the you must work for a living, otherwise you're worthless
Mhm.
mindset.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, the 1% is like, we inherited this stuff. Oh, we took it. So we're fine. We're fine with
Right.
everything. No, you're
Right.
going to keep using that. Drill that oil.
Right. Right.
So how do you stop, or how do you convince those people who contain most of the power in their very sweaty, greedy hands
Mhm.
to give it up for the good of all humanity? They don't even care about humanity.
No, I don't think you're going to convince them to do anything. The only hope I can see is if the 99% run them off the planet by force. Or we just take control of our own behavior and stop doing the things that um, add to their coffers, you know. Um, but the 1%, my dick or dicky theory. The dick or is having a good time. He ain't never gonna stop. He ain't never gonna stop. If anybody's gonna stop it, it's gonna have to be the dicky. That's the only way.
Yes.
And if the
Yes.
dicky doesn't stop it, maybe she's having a good time too.
You just don't care no more.
We don't care. We don't care.
Oh,
Our
oh,
own creature comforts
yeah.
mean more to us than, than the good of the planet, the good of the ecosystem, the good of all the other plants and animals and sea creatures. Um,
Mm.
there was something on Facebook today. Who was it? Was it Robert Reich maybe, who was saying, if we're going to keep calling ourselves a Christian nation, we're going to have to, um, I don't know, something about stop pretending that Jesus, stop talking about what Jesus commanded you to do. And, it was just
Oh.
about, yeah, just be honest. Just be honest. You're not a Christian nation. Stop playing.
They're only Christian on Sunday morning.
And but that's what I'm saying. That, I guess really that's either we need to admit that we just don't care. Um, or accept the kind of sacrifices um that caring imply.
Mm.
Not easy. What's this note? Oh,
Mm.
that was the Columbus thing. That had to be,
Oh,
that's why I said, why is he even giving a footnote? I don't get
you need to email him, Michelle. Say, I
it.
have a question. I have a question. Page number. You said. Were you joking?
Joking. I
I
mean,
just need some clarification, just a bit.
yeah.
Oh my
Yeah. So
goodness.
he says we might be more if we knew how many species we've already eradicated, we might be more motivated to protect those that still survive. I don't believe Harari believes that.
Well, if you didn't say something hopeful like that, people would just stop reading the book right there. And rush off and jump off the cliff someplace.
Yes.
Because, you know, because everybody, even though it seems that way, probably because we're so busy trying to survive, most of us, right? Because a lot of the creature comforts have just turned into necessities because everything is just so expensive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, but
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how uh, ancient history might have changed if a band of those sapiens had said, "Well, that giant sloth isn't doing anything. Sure, he smells a little bad, but let's build around him, okay? We're not going to kill his whatever these trees are he likes to eat. We're going to build over there." I wonder,
Mm-hmm.
because these are some huge creatures. I'm like, wow. And
Yeah.
it made me think about, well, okay, well, how do they know they're that huge? Because they found some bones. They probably found a lot of bone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we just have no idea how different the land may have looked.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's a shame. It's a shame. That's where we are, though. That's where we are. And what I really love about this man is just his, just his clarity and honesty. Um, as he looks out at the world. Um, so anyway, Gio, it was a short chapter. And there's just the two of us tonight. So I think unless you have some more points, another point you want to make, we should wrap it up.
No, I think it's time to go watch some Bugs Bunny because this is depressing. No, stop.
Yeah.
Oh, mm, but
Yeah.
there are, we are not the few and far between, Michelle. We just haven't all found each other.
Yeah. Yeah. I know we're out there, but on the last page of the chapter, page 74, the first wave extinction, which accompanied the spread of the foragers, was followed by the second wave extinction, which accompanied the spread of the farmers, and gives us an important perspective on the third wave extinction, which industrial activity is causing today. Don't believe tree huggers who claim that our ancestors lived in harmony with nature. Long before the Industrial Revolution, Homo sapiens held the record among all organisms for driving the most plant and animal species to their extinctions. We have the dubious distinction of being the deadliest species in the annals of biology. How does it feel, Gio?
This explains why for many years scientists kept saying there's no life. If there were aliens out there, we would already know it. Yeah, because they ain't gonna let you know that you're deadly. Oh
Yeah,
my God. This is putting the pieces together for me.
yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
oh my
Well,
goodness.
we have a pattern. That's the problem. We have
Ah,
a pattern that
uh,
goes back to our earliest times and hasn't broken speed yet. You know, so um, I wanna be hopeful. See, if Vanita were here, she would be saying something mean and ugly, and that would force me to come up with something positive
something
to say.
positive.
But I can't do it without
Oh
her.
my God. Oh my God. Well, let's see. If on the bright, let me try to find the bright side. Well,
Yes.
I'm trying. Time travel in the multiverse. Perhaps we can find we'll get
Yes.
a group together who will go to a different planet on a different timeline or whatever, and they'll educate. Here, take this back to your world and put it in the water and make them drink it,
Oh,
and they'll
oh.
stop.
Okay. Okay.
I got to reach
Okay.
way into sci-fi for a
Yeah,
solution.
that was deep.
You notice I
But
said take it back. I didn't. They didn't stay there. They were like, we ain't going back there. No,
yes,
have
yes, like who is it? The Christmas who's that mean man at Christmas?
Oh,
Scrooge.
Scrooge. Yeah,
And
yeah.
and they do these movies where this is what your life could look like if you follow Scrooge. But on the other hand,
Yes, yes, yes.
yeah,
Yeah, we need
yeah.
those.
So we're having a bad dream. And we need to wake up.
Yeah, yeah.
And we need to wake up from this nightmare and make some good choices. So
That's
Yeah,
right.
I like the water strategy because it's going to take something like that. You know, the water, the air, um, because you know, back to what I was saying about the education system, we've got that so jacked up that everybody's not getting fed the same nourishment, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And even with the water, we're not getting the same stuff. Um, so maybe the air, you know, we need something to to like a
Just cover the planet.
yeah, like a coronavirus
Oh,
that we can't escape, but that instead of killing us, it makes us smart.
oh, oh! That now that sounds like a sci-fi. Well, it could be a horror, but theme where the virus grows and mutates, and then finally it's like X virus XM99. Now it's sentient, and it's like, look, we've had
Yes,
enough of you. You're going to follow what we say. Oh my
yes, yes.
goodness.
All
So,
right, that's a hopeful note.
okay. Oh my goodness. Well, it's good. Yes, laughter. It's good to end this chapter on some laughter. Yes.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes. All right, Gio,
Mhm.
have a happy holiday.
Thank you, Michelle. You do too. You have
Yeah,
any plans? Or you just gonna stay in and read and
I'm,
enjoy the quiet?
I'm gonna stay in. I don't know if I'm gonna be reading.
Okay. Whatever puts a smile
But
on your face, all right?
I
Go
gotta get
ahead.
some reading done. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
So I'll
That's
see you in
cool.
2 weeks.
All right. Well, be
Okay.
safe and find some joy.
You
Okay.
too.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.